Hey everyone, it's Christina Holloway here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're talking about something that's tough to face, but too important to ignore. What do you do when the company you work for changes? I don't mean new policies or leadership. I mean the culture, the energy, the values. You signed on believing one thing, but now you look around and wonder, is this still the place for me? If you've been asking that question, especially during a time when job hunting feels overwhelming and unstable, you are not alone. So let's talk through how to know when a company's values have shifted and what to do when they no longer align with your own. All right, so let's get started. There's usually a moment. It could be subtle and you might feel it in your gut first, but also it can come as a shocking wave. Someone in leadership makes a decision and it goes completely against everything you stand for as a person. It's a really crappy move. And maybe it feels like it comes out of nowhere. But then you kind of realize, no, we were always headed in this direction. I just didn't want to admit it. Maybe leadership starts justifying questionable decisions as strategic. Maybe collaboration is replaced with competition, creating a really toxic environment. Maybe the mission that once excited you now feels like lip service. And sometimes the company didn't change overnight, but the pressure to show profit, cut costs, or protect leadership becomes louder than the people who keep the business running. The business starts chasing numbers rather than standing at the forefront of innovation. That's a big pivot and it's jarring. So I've been on the receiving end of culture shifts, crappy corporate decisions, and remarkable decline in integrity and transparency plenty of times in my career. Friends, I have seen things and it feels bad. It is most definitely deflating and it leaves you asking yourself what motivation and engagement are going to look like for you at a place that you no longer respect. And that's it. So, how do you know the company's values aren't what they used to be? Here are 5 signs. Leadership rebrands unethical decisions as necessary. Transparency disappears. Decisions are made behind closed doors and then sugar-coated. Loyalty is expected but not returned. You're told to be a team player, but when layoffs happen or benefits change, you're the last to know. Burnout is normalized. Overwork becomes a badge of honor. Time off, optional. Your well being, not their concern. People who speak up are punished or ignored. Psychological safety disappears. You learn to stay quiet to survive. You feel like a stranger in a place that used to feel like home. The mission is the same, but the meaning is gone. I've seen this happen with several of my clients, but one in particular comes to mind. She had been a rising star in her department. She gave her best work. She led with integrity and was seen as a team player. Then leadership changed. Suddenly, her input was unwelcome. She was excluded from key conversations. And worst of all, she was treated like a threat, not a leader. And she kept asking herself, do I leave or do I stay and prove them wrong? And here's the thing. She works in sales and she's one of the top sales executives in terms of business revenue. And her confidence really took a hit. It can happen to anyone. But here's what made it harder. Let's be honest. It would be easy for me to say, just leave if you're unhappy. That's always an option. But it's so much more complicated, especially when jobs are scarce. Interviewing is exhausting. You need the benefits or you're tied to RSUs. You're supporting a family. You're worried about starting over. Or you're just burnt out and don't have the energy to pivot. And sometimes you wonder if you're overreacting, if maybe it's your fault, if maybe you should stay and tough it out. So, first, I'll say this. You're not imagining it and you're not being dramatic. Also, you are not too sensitive. When the values change and the leadership stops honoring what you signed up for, it's okay to reevaluate. In fact, it's smart. Okay, so let's talk strategy. If you're not in a position to leave or you're not ready to, here's what to do if you stay. Get clear on your boundaries. What behavior will you tolerate and what crosses the line? Document everything. If things go south, you want a record. Protect your energy. Be professional, but don't overextend. Build your network outside the company. Quietly start reconnecting and exploring. And if you do decide to leave, get honest about what you want next. You can make a list of the values you won't compromise again, but also values change at companies. This is more for you to recognize it earlier and feel more in control about your next move. Don't let mistreatment define your worth. You didn't cause the culture shift, you noticed it, and that's awareness. Rebuild your confidence, especially if you've been gaslit, overlooked, or made to feel small. The right place will see your value. This is not about you. Sometimes it's really just about dominance, power, and revenue. Three things we should not take for granted. Look, final word. This isn't an easy decision. When you signed up for the job, you believed in the mission, you believed in the team, you gave your best, and you worked on building relationships. There's a community involved that you have to look at with distance. And sometimes we realize that community is not for us anymore. And maybe you've outgrown it. When the values shift, you have to ask, is this still the right place for me? And if not, what does a value aligned future look like? That answer may not come overnight, but you deserve to work somewhere that honors your integrity, not exploits it. All right, so that's it for my video on what to do when a company's core values at work change. If you have experience with realizing the place you worked is no longer right for you, please share how you managed it. I would love to hear about it. And if you want leadership advice that's grounded in real life resilience, check out my newsletter, The Executive Edge, or join my private LinkedIn group, Leadership Lunch Break. I have linked everything in the description below. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up by hitting that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.